Hey, everybody, welcome to week 7 of what I like to call the webinar. And I appreciate you all for joining me today. So week 7, what we're talking about today is really 3 things. We're talking about referrals, multifamily brokerage, and kind of how those tie in to also what I like to call the three-headed monster with eXp Realty. So I'm just going to kind of step back for a second here and go back in time and tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit about how I got my start and why I got into this business in the first place. So 1994 is when I got my real estate license. So if you do some math there, that takes me back about 27 years. I was young. I was 20 years old when I got my license. And the reason for that was because I really felt like real estate was kind of the path to least resistance, or the easiest way for me to kind of run my own business, be entrepreneurial, kind of an easy point of entry as well. And growing up, I saw that entrepreneurial spirit with my parents and with my some of my aunts and uncles and the people that are really was in our community. My parents came from another country. They came with no language, no money, that whole American coming to America narrative and story that a lot of us share. And so growing up, I saw that, and I saw, the benefits of business and running your own business, and, kind of controlling your own destiny. So that's what I saw growing up. And the chip on my shoulder, which I've always kind of kept down there, is the idea that if people can come to this country with no money and no language and maybe no formal education either, and they can come here, work hard, and make a success out of themselves, that's what I want to do. And if I can't do that with the opportunities that are in front of me and available to me, and the language and the education, then there's something else wrong. So I've always kind of felt that way. And I've kind of, like I said, kind of kept that chip on my shoulder. And that's what's inspired me to move forward. And, I've always kind of felt that real estate offers you so many different opportunities, from brokerage to development to landlording to leasing and construction and rehab. And, the list can go on and on. I mean, the entire world and economy and everything in some way, shape, or form touches real estate. So fast forward then to 1994, 20 years old, I go out and I get my real estate license and I start selling. And one of the things that I also saw growing up was multifamily apartment buildings and rentals. And my uncles were, when they came over here, they all started as janitors, and a lot of the community that we were belonging to in the Chicago area, it was kind of like that, starting off point. You become a janitor, and you cleaned buildings and you cleaned apartments, and then you started learning the operation of the building. And all these guys, my uncles and my dad included, they started to learn the operation of the building, and started learning, with repairs and dealing with tenants and dealing with people and dealing with vendors and leasing and all that kind of stuff, and then dealing with the owners. And some of these jobs that they had were with condo buildings. So now you're dealing with a management company and you're dealing with condo owners. So they learned all of that. And when they went on vacation and kind of took some time off, I was the guy that kind of stepped in in a week in the summer, or a couple of weeks in the summer, to pick up for them. So that's kind of where I saw a lot of that, and where I kind of learned the operation of an apartment building. And so over time, these guys figured out that it was in their interest to buy apartment buildings. It was just, maybe at the time it was just another job that they bought for themselves, and maybe they didn't necessarily have the foresight that those investments would turn into, really wealth building and cash flow investments for them. They were just buying another job. It's what they knew. And over time, those investments went where they went. And I saw that. So when I got my real estate license, I actually did have a business model, or not a business model, a business plan. And I may not have known it specifically at the time, but my business plan was sell some real estate, earn some commissions, buy a building. sell some real estate, earn some commissions, buy a building, and kind of lather, rinse, repeat is what was happening. And once you start getting into that space, opportunities tend to open up to you, and you start figuring things out. Well, you go, okay, so I'm going to buy this building, I'm going to improve it a little bit, maybe raise the rents, refinance it, take some cash out, buy something else, flip it into something else. So because of all of that, my brokerage business kind of started leaning towards multifamily prospecting, because I enjoyed apartment buildings, and I enjoyed that landlord tenant experience, and I could speak to tenants, and I understood the operation of an apartment building, and I understood the cadence of showing an apartment building. It's different than showing a single family home. You've got, you're going to be dealing with different apartments. You're going to be dealing with different people letting you in or maybe not letting you in. How do you handle that? Hallways and maybe elevators and basements and boiler rooms and storage lockers and laundry facilities and, garages, all of those things kind of, go into the cadence of showing an apartment building. Where do you start? Where do you end? Where do you end? Where do you end up talking to the client or the buyer when you're showing an apartment building? So I learned all those things going along. And so that's kind of what I enjoyed. And that's what I started prospecting for. And what I learned was that the conversation that you can have with a multifamily investor or an investor in general is an easy conversation. They all want to talk. They all want to talk about what they have. They want to tell their war stories. They want to tell their success stories. So when you get on a phone and you talk to a multifamily investor, owner, or any investor, it's an easy conversation. You don't get hung up all the time. And, back in 1994, there really wasn't, the internet like we knew it, like we know it today. There wasn't online leads and, all this tech in order to find, these owners. I was calling from the newspaper. I was calling from the Chicago Tribune for rent ads. And I would call on for rent signs when I'm driving around. There's an old sign, with maybe the owner's name. A lot of those owners back then, in some of these neighborhoods, especially in some of like the smaller buildings, 6, 10, 15 units, these are all owner operator type of situations. So, you weren't calling cell phones in 1994, you were calling landlines in the evening when somebody would probably pick up. So I would make those calls, and I had a pretty simple, back then I had a pretty simple script. It was simply, are you looking to buy any more property? You own this property here. Is that your for sale sign? Are you the owner of the property? Are you happen to be looking for any other deals? And invariably, they would say, yes, I'm always looking, or I'm always looking for a deal, or something along those lines. Because these guys were business people first and foremost, and they were actually in the real estate business. They owned real estate for profit, right? For cash flow, for building wealth. So they're in that business. And what I also found is that especially when you get into some of the bigger stuff, the pool of people is very small. Everybody knows each other. Everybody is kind of chasing the same stuff. And especially here in Cleveland. Cleveland's a much smaller market than Chicago. So, you start dealing with 50, 60, 80 unit buildings, everybody knows each other. And it's kind of very, for lack of a better word, incestual. And, 3, 4 groups may own the lion's share of properties here in town. So, having conversations with those guys is also, it's an easy conversation because they're always looking, they're in the business, they're always chatting, and they always want a resource too. So you can be that good resource, that valuable, trusted resource to any of these guys that own investments and own multifamily properties. So to kind of go back, one of the stories, really the story that I tell, kind of my success story when I first started, and I still tell it to this day, and I'm going to tell you guys now because it's one of those things that I remind myself every day on, the power of this business and the power of the phone, really. And so it was, let's call it 1995 or 1996. I was making some calls and I was calling for rent ads, and I called on a guy, And I said, hey, that's your sign. You own that building. You looking to buy anything else? Yeah, I'm always looking, right? This typical thing. So he invited me to his business to meet him. And that's really what we do. That's what we're taught to do. We're taught to get on the phone, build rapport, get to an appointment, and meet the prospect. So that's exactly what happened. I went over there to meet him. And as I'm walking in, he tells me, he kind of stops me before I even introduce myself. And he says, my dad knows you. He says, do whatever you say. So as a 24, 22, 24-year-old kid, essentially, to walk into a stranger's business who, I'm trying to do business with, and he's telling me that I'm going to do everything that he's going to do everything that I say because his old man told him so. That was a big deal to me. That was like, okay, I got some street cred, right? And this is going to kind of tie into the referral piece of my presentation, because that father, right, told his son to work with me. It was essentially a referral. Even though this started out as a cold call, it ended up being a referral to a trusted person. And that deal, that phone call and that referral ended up being 6 deals over about 18 months. I sold him, I think it was 6 apartment buildings over, 18 months, 2 years, something like that. So what am I learning now? Now I'm learning that you got to realize that I'm early in this business. I'm kind of young in this business. I'm learning that one client can now turn into 2 transactions, 3, 4, 10. It could 10x your deals with one investor client. And depending on the space, I choose multifamily for reasons I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. There's a lot of different categories of real estate. I mean, you could be, when we talk about niches, so my niche is multifamily. You could be a land niche. You could be office building. You could be single family homes in a specific neighborhood or a specific city or town. You could be high rise condos. The list is endless as far as niches go. But the niche is what's going to drive the referral also. So kind of going back, this particular client turned into 6 deals over a 1.5 year period. And, so what's the lifetime value of an investor client compared to, say, like a single family home client? A lot of these investors also are business owners. They've got their own business aside from real estate. Real estate's their side hustle. It's their investment portfolio. It is whatever it is to them. But they've got another business. Maybe they've got gas stations. Maybe they've got a restaurant. Maybe they've got a manufacturing company, the Real Estate Machine Show, as you see right up there. Very, very possible, very, very likely that there's another business involved. And when you deal with business owners, referrals are embedded, are ingrained in the business owner's psyche, because as a business owner, you are looking for business for yourself. So you naturally want to have referral sources referring you business. So that is now all of a sudden a very, very natural thing to deal with referrals and investors, right? So how do you get a referral? There's really 2 ways that you're going to get a referral. The first way is you're going to deliver exceptional service to the client. If you deliver exceptional service to the client and they are happy and thrilled with what happened during that transaction, they're going to become your raving fans, and they're then going to refer their friends and family to you, most likely into that niche that you're doing. And then the second way that you're going to get referrals is it's going to sound stupid, but you have to ask. You have to ask the questions. You got to stay in touch with your people, and you got to simply ask the questions. Hey, are you doing anything in the next 90 days? Do you know anybody that's going to be buying or selling in real estate? Hey, listen, I got this deal over here I'm about to list. Do you know anybody that's looking for a condo in downtown Cleveland? Whatever all that looks like. But you got to ask. You deliver the exceptional service and you ask. So in my view, there are 3 sources of referrals we're talking about real estate. So let's stay within real estate. I'm sure that these 3 sources are going to, some of the maybe 2 out of 3 are going to transcend industries or cross over different industries, but we're talking about real estate. So the 3 sources of referrals are, number 1, what I'm just talking about now. Either your current client or past client or friend and family is going to refer one of their people to you. right? That's the first referral. And you're going to get that referral by delivering exceptional service and being a raving fan to your client. That's how you're going to get that referral. So referral number two now is really about the niche that you choose. And it's referral from agent in your marketplace, or maybe even outside of your marketplace, to you, meaning they've got a client or a customer that's looking for something that might be or is doing something in the real estate space that's related to your niche. You are now known to that other agent as an expert in that niche, and that agent is going to refer their client to you. So for the purpose of delivering exceptional value to their client. So, right, let's map this out. You've got an agent over here, and they've got a client that they're doing business with, and that agent sells condos, but that client wants to buy a multifamily building. That agent doesn't want anything to do with multifamily buildings. That agent knows me. We've got a relationship. They trust me. They know that I'm, we'll call an expert in in that particular field, in that niche. So in order to deliver exceptional service to their client, they're going to refer that client to me and capitalize on a referral fee, right? I'd be more than happy to pay out a referral fee to that agent and to get that business. And, that agent, it would be foolish to not work the other way as well and refer that client for, whatever's negotiated, 20, 30% referral fee, because 20 or 30% of something is better than 100% of nothing. We've all heard that. Now what's really key here is that when you're that agent and you're referring to another agent, how do you position that referral? How do you position the relationship between the two agents? That's important, because sometimes the agent who's with the same company and sometimes they're with a different company. And the client is not really going to know the nuances of how that all works, and they're really not going to care. They're just going to care about getting service. But to position the referral as a business partner, as a partner, has a lot of power, because now all of a sudden you've got credibility. You're giving credibility to the agent that you're referring to, and you're referring to them as a business partner. So in the eyes of the client, you guys are working together to service that client. So it's almost like they've got two people working for them. And when you refer, when agents refer to each other as partners, as business partners, that relationship kind of solidifies, in my opinion, solidifies even stronger. And you want to deliver a service. You don't want to let that other agent down because they're your partner. It's not just like a referral where, here, take this guy and go show him some buildings. It's a business relationship, it's a financial relationship, because there's a referral fee going back and forth. And so you're financially aligned now to get that job done. And to refer as a business partner, I think just gives you that extra level of professionalism and credibility. So agent to agent referral. So when you've got your niche, that's a great, when you're going to brand yourself, right? I've got here the Real Estate Machine Show. That's arguably a brand. Multifamily brokerage or multifamily sales is kind of where I like to land. And I like to let people know that that's my niche. So when you are marketing to to consumers, we'll call them consumers, buyers and sellers, you're going to market that you are an expert in your particular niche, but you're also going to market to other agents that you're an expert in that particular niche, because no doubt about it, there are agents out there that are uncomfortable in that particular space. So they need a resource. Everybody needs a resource. I don't want to necessarily sell a condo in Akron. I'm not going to sell a condo in Akron. However, one of my business partners down in Akron is perfect for selling condos in Akron, and I'm going to give that business to that agent down there, because I know they're going to deliver exceptional value to my client. And that's where niches are really going to fall in, and that's where niches and referrals tie into each other. So to recap, number one and number two. Number one referral source is consumer to agent, referring their friends and family to the agent. Referral source number two is agent to agent, an agent referring their client to another agent in the marketplace or even outside of the marketplace, to service um, a particular property type, so to speak, or location or something. So agent to agent. And then the third way is referring an agent to your company, right? Call it agent attraction. We call it recruiting. We call it introducing your brokerage to an agent that you're doing a deal with, or an agent that you know in the marketplace or outside of the marketplace, depending on how this is all laid out, as value to that other agent. And there's a number of reasons why people choose brokerages, and you can go down the list, right? And I'm not going to dive into those weeds, but one particular pillar of an offering or an income that you can generate with certain brokerages is referring agents to the company and getting referral fees on the business that agent does with the company. So again, I don't want to dive too deep into this. And the reason being is because I'm going to pivot here for a second, and I want to share my screen, and I want to share a video with you guys. A business partner of mine out in California, his name is Aaron. He does a really, really great job articulating what the business model is and how referrals and referring agents to the company really is could be a very interesting pillar or wheel of your referral business. And before I do so, though, again, I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I know that it's difficult to carve out 30, 45 minutes out of your day to jump on a webinar. Hopefully, I delivered a little bit of value these first 15 minutes or so. And you could take some of my story and maybe implement something into your business and capitalize on it right away. There are two scripts that I use that I've developed over the years for multifamily prospecting that I want to share with you. And if you would just leave a comment in the chat box there that you'd like it, and I'll send it out to you, no problem. It's a very, very simple script. It's very easy to master, and it is very powerful. I generate conversations very easily from this script, and it's an easy way to get yourself a new customer or a client, whether it's a now money or later money, right? But very, very powerful script. Very happy to share it. So if you bear with me now for just a minute, I'm going to share my screen and play this video. Here we go.
What I'm going to share with you today literally changed my business, and it changed my life, and it may change yours too. I worked for years as a real estate agent for Christie's International Real Estate here in Manhattan Beach, California, and I was extraordinarily happy there. I loved it. I ran a great business, and I still do, selling about 50 homes per year with an average sales price of about $1 million per home. So one day, a friend of mine, Michelle, who's an agent out in Michigan, gives me a call and asked me to watch a presentation and evaluate a brokerage model that she was participating in. Now, I had zero intention of changing companies. In fact, I couldn't have been happier with where I was at, but I love learning new things, so I was happy to take a look at it. What I saw changed everything I had learned and known about the real estate industry in my 18 years as a real estate agent and broker. I learned that there's a massive disruption occurring today in the real estate industry. This disruption is a cloud-based, technology-driven real estate brokerage called eXp Realty. I was totally blown away by what I saw. So I brought the information on this new real estate model to a friend of mine within my company, a guy named Dave Caskey. I value his opinion because Dave leads one of the most successful real estate teams in the country, doing over $300 million in sales volume annually. Dave took a look at the model, and he was totally blown away too. So what we both saw was how innovative and radically different this model was compared to any company we'd ever seen before. In fact, once we saw it, we really couldn't unsee it. And we both decided to make the switch over to eXp Realty. So the question is this: what did a high producing agent like myself and an extraordinarily successful team leader like Dave, what did we both see that literally compelled us to join this revolutionary company? Well, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with a little bit of background. Industries are transformed when disruptive technologies are introduced. Blockbuster is a perfect example. Blockbuster Video was a massive $5 billion company with over 9,000 brick and mortar stores. They completely dominated their industry, right? Netflix had no stores, but they came along with streaming video, and in a few short years, they put Blockbuster out of business. The same thing happened with the travel industry. Do you remember going to your travel agent to book a vacation or a cruise? Not anymore. Travelocity, Hotels.com, and all the travel sites, they changed all that. The same thing happened with the taxi industry and Uber, and it happened in the hotel and accommodation industry with Airbnb. Airbnb doesn't own any hotel rooms. They're a cloud-based company. But maybe the most obvious example of industry disruption for most of us today is the retail industry and Amazon. There are thousands of brick and mortar stores that shut down every year, and Amazon is doing better than ever. So across the board, cloud-based companies have disrupted all these industries, and now that same industry-changing disruption has come to our industry. It's come to the real estate industry. eXp Realty is a cloud-based, technology-driven real estate company that has brought the most innovative changes we've seen in the real estate industry in over 100 years. The old traditional real estate brokerage model typically works like this. There's a big international company at the top, RE/MAX, Keller Williams, Century 21, Sotheby's. Then they divide the country into regions. Okay, so then there's franchises and broker owners, and then they have to hire managers and recruiters and office staff. And they have these big, fancy, expensive offices, and they're filled with copiers and phones and internet, and they have utilities to pay for, and on and on and on and on. There's so many expenses. And the agent is at the bottom of this massive pile of salaries and expenses, and the agent has to pay for all that with your hard-earned commissions. It's a top-heavy model, and it's just not sustainable. eXp Realty is the new model. It's a cloud-based, technology-driven real estate company that eliminates costly commercial office space because it's all in the cloud. And it eliminates millions of dollars of bloated expenses. All that freed up money now goes back to making the agents' lives and businesses better in two major ways. The first is that it's invested in providing the best agent business systems on the planet. And the second is that it puts more money back into the agent's pocket. That's you. At eXp, the agent is not at the bottom like the old model. The agent is at the top because we actually share in the ownership of the company. And we're backed directly by a multi-billion-dollar international tech company. When I worked for Christie's, I didn't own the company. In fact, when I worked for my old brokerage, and then I was exposed to eXp's innovative model of doing business, I realized that as long as I was working for my old company, it was like I was working for a Blockbuster store. It was really no different. And now by working with eXp, it ensures not only that you have a future in real estate, but that your future will be bright. Now, there's three major components that make eXp the model of the future. Okay, the first is our cloud office. It's a virtual office that allows you to work from anywhere. eXp World is a cloud campus that allows you to attend meetings and classes and collaborate with other agents. Now, if you've got a question for the broker, all you do is you walk into the office and ask. I used to have to call my broker, leave a voicemail, send a text, wait to get an answer. And now the level of support I get is like nothing I've ever experienced before. It's astonishing. What if you have a question about a commission check? Same thing, just go to accounting and you take care of it. Want to attend a class? There's over 50 hours per week of live education. And it covers tips on sales and listings. It covers lead generation, social media, CRM tools, and so much more. Let me ask you a question. How much education does your current company offer you? Because the amount of education at eXp, it's extraordinary. So every agent at eXp gets the most powerful CRM and lead generation platform available today. It's called KV Core. Now, non-eXp agents pay $600 per month for this service, over $7,000 per year. This system, it sends buyer and seller leads right to your phone. People that want to buy now, people that want to sell now. And KV Core is included for every eXp agent as part of their $85 monthly fee. KV Core is the industry leading system that provides you with a personalized IDX website, CRM, email and text campaigns, squeeze pages, landing pages, and so much more. You also get SkySlope. Now, SkySlope is the top transaction management program available today. SkySlope allows every agent to manage their business in an all-in-one paperless system that helps you effortlessly stay organized with your transactions. What about marketing collateral? Well, the eXp Marketing Center has over 5,000 pieces to choose from. Everything you could ever want, whether you need a quick postcard, all the way up to a full presentation, it's all there for you. Basically, everything an agent needs to run an efficient, profitable business is provided for you. Now, if you do want to still go to a physical office, we've got you covered. You don't have to give up your office. Every eXp agent gets a Regus membership, so you can use any one of their thousands of flexible workspaces all over the country. The Regus spaces are beautiful. They're stocked with coffee and tea. There's receptionists there. You can rent the conference room to meet clients. They're really, really spectacular. And it's also a great referral source just by meeting and networking with other business professionals that also use the Regus shared workspaces. Okay, so the first major component to eXp is our cloud office, right? The second is the equity opportunities. Our agents have ownership in the company as stockholders. When I worked for Christie's, or if you work for Remax or Sotheby's or Keller Williams, you don't own the company. At eXp, we own the company together.
I'm going to just interrupt Aaron really, really quick. Points 2 and 3 coming up here. You got equity opportunities. And then point number 3 is how I'm going to tie this all together in what I call the three-headed monster. So bear with me and check this out.
eXp is a publicly traded, multi-billion-dollar company with zero debt. We're traded on the NASDAQ with Apple and Google and all the other big tech companies, and our ticker symbol is EXPI. When you sell your first home each year, you get stock in the company. When you reach your commission cap, you get stock in the company. When an agent you brought to the company sells their first home, you get stock. And if you're a top producer, we call it an icon agent, you can get up to $16,000. Your entire cap that you paid to the company, you can get that back to you in the form of stock. There's even an agent equity program. It's totally optional, but it's amazing, where you can take 5% of your commission check and you can purchase stock at a 10% discount. Now, I've got a question for you. What do you think your financial advisor would tell you about buying stock at a 10% discount the day you buy it? I think they'd say it's a good thing, don't you? Okay. The third major component of eXp is their revenue share plan. Now, revenue share is very different from profit share, which is the Keller Williams model. Because after Keller Williams pays all their expenses, if there's no profit, how much is there to share? Nothing. Revenue share, however, comes directly off the top. So when you sponsor an agent to join eXp and they sell a home, you actually get a percentage of that commission. And that percentage comes from the eXp portion of the split, not from the agent's portion. For example, agents you directly sponsor are in your first tier, and you receive 3.5% of their gross commission until they reach their cap of $16,000 company dollars. So the maximum revenue share that you can receive from an agent on your first tier is $2,800 per agent. If you attract 10 capping agents to the company, you earn $2,800 times 10, or $28,000 per year. Now, when you've attracted 5 producing agents into your first tier, it unlocks your tier 2, which are the agents your tier 1 agents attract to the company. So tier 1 agents are the ones that you personally attract. Tier 2 agents are the ones that your tier 1 agents personally attract, and so on and so forth. And it goes down for 7 tiers. Now, from tier 2, you receive 4% of the gross commissions from those agents until they cap, which is a maximum of $3,200 per agent on your tier 2. So you actually receive more compensation from your tier 2 than from your tier 1, because you've taken your eyes off of yourself and put it onto others. It's actually part of our culture within the company that we uplift and support others. It's called compensation for contribution. One team, one goal, one fire. As you attract more agents, you can unlock up to 7 levels or 7 tiers. So when you attract 5 agents to the company, it unlocks tier 2. When you attract 10 agents to the company, it unlocks tier 3, and so on and so forth, until you unlock 7 levels. Listen, real estate is not an industry for the faint of heart. Real estate agents are some of the hardest working people out there. And many agents get completely consumed by their business. It's like they're on a spinning hamster wheel, a constant treadmill that they can never get off of. They're constantly searching for their next deal and they can never ever stop. Well, now with the opportunity to actually gain stock in the company and the opportunity to build some residual income through revenue share, there's finally some tools to give agents a shot of retiring with dignity. I want you to write down a few numbers, okay? The first number is 2.35 million, okay? 2.35 million. The next number is 4%, and the third number is $94,000. So what do these numbers mean? This is what they mean. If you want to retire and you've worked really hard and saved and invested $2.35 million, not easy to do, but if you've done that, most financial advisors will tell you that you can actually take 4% of your investment each year to live on so that you don't erode your principal. Does that make sense? So let me rephrase that. If you have $2.35 million invested in the markets and you take 4% of that per year, you'll have a passive income essentially of $94,000 per year. Now, let's take a look at another way to arrive at that number of $94,000 per year in income through revenue share. With revenue share, if you attract 5 productive agents and those 5 agents do the same and they each attract 5, then you'll have 5 agents in your tier 1 providing you $14,000 and 25 agents in your tier 2 providing you $80,000 for a total of $94,000 in income per year. Now, which is easier, honestly, saving up $2.35 million and investing it, or sharing this information and attracting 5 productive agents? It's actually kind of amazing, isn't it? What if you attracted 10 capping agents and they did the same and they each attracted 10? Even if it took you 5 years to do this, you'd have 10 agents in your tier 1 and you'd have 100 agents in your second tier. Now, if they're all capping agents, that equals $348,000 per year or $29,000 per month income. Again, it's compensation for contribution. Now, let's be totally clear. Are all agents you attract going to be capping agents? No, of course not. And when you attract 10 agents, are they each going to attract 10 more? No. Some will attract 0. Some will attract 8. Some will attract 20. Participating in agent attraction is totally optional. You don't have to do it. You don't have to attract any agents if you don't want to, but it's just really nice to know that if you do have a friend that joins the company because of your recommendation, that you're going to get compensated for that. Listen, there's a whole host of reasons that agents join us at eXp. Some agents come to this amazing company just for the cloud office and the robust business systems so that they can actually sell more homes. Some come for all the amazing education that eXp offers, or the collaboration, or even the stock ownership or the equity awards. And some agents, they just come to eXp for the agent healthcare program, which is amazing. It provides US agents access to innovative and low-cost healthcare choices. And yet others just love the simple, low-cost fee structure, which is the following. Every agent in the company, every agent is on an 80-20 split with a $16,000 annual cap. So once you reach $80,000 in gross commissions, you've reached your $16,000 cap and you go to 100% split with a $250 per transaction fee. After you do 20 transactions at $250 each, you reach what we call icon status. That's when you can receive up to your entire $16,000 cap back that you paid to the company back to you in the form of stock. After that, your transaction fee drops down to $75 per transaction for the rest of the anniversary year. By the way, for agents that work in high-end marketplaces and don't do as many transactions customarily, the other way you can reach icon status and be eligible to earn your entire $16,000 cap back in the form of stock is to earn a gross commission, a total gross commission of $500,000 with at least 10 transactions. Back to the fees. There's a one-time $149 starter fee, which actually includes your first month's cloud brokerage fee. After that, the cloud brokerage fee is $85 per month to pay for all the systems. There's a $25 per transaction broker review fee to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And there's a $40 per transaction risk management fee that caps at $500 per year. You'll never pay more than $500 per year for E&O insurance. And that's it. The growth of this company is extraordinary. We're now at over 50,000 agents and it's growing every day. eXp is the largest independent company on the planet, and it's the fastest growing real estate company in the history of real estate. We're currently in the US, in Canada, in the UK, in Australia, and we just opened up in a whole host of other countries. We opened in Brazil and India and South Africa and Mexico and Portugal and France, and there's many, many other countries to follow. The growth is astonishing to watch, and the collaboration and support are amazing to experience. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. If you're not.
So I'm going to stop my my screen share right now. And I do appreciate you guys sticking in there with me during that presentation. So I want to kind of go back to, listen, we are in fact real estate professionals. And as a real estate professional, we understand and we can appreciate real estate as an investment, right? And why do we buy real estate as an investment? Two reasons: for wealth building and for cash flow, right? So what I believe EXP has figured out is that us real estate professionals have three things going on, right? We've got our sales business, and maybe we've got our investment portfolio. And then we can now offer a third piece of passive income investment by referring agents to our company. So I call that the three-headed monster. You've got your sales business, you've got your real estate investments, and then you've got your revenue share over here. So, owning real estate, there is, massive tax benefits to that too. So it really kind of all ties itself together. EXP has figured out a way to offer those benefits, wealth building and passive income to your business that you're doing already on a regular basis. So it's just a very, very interesting, innovative way to look at things. And as we refer other agents to the company, we refer other agents to your clients. The real estate space, it's all revolving around niches, referrals, and collaboration, and getting all that to work for you. And I truly believe that the EXP business model is the one that has positioned itself for the future of real estate, and is why I made that choice a little over 2 years ago. When just to put things into perspective, September 2019, when I joined the company, there was 19,000 agents. Today we're at 67,000 in 20 countries. So something's going on, and everybody in the space kind of owes it to themselves to see what's going on and to see for themselves how they can possibly benefit from what we're doing over here at EXP Realty. So anyway, again, I appreciate you all for joining me and sticking with me to the end here. And I promise I will send out those multifamily prospecting scripts to you. And if you have any other questions or you want to get a hold of me, everybody knows how to reach me. 312-493-8171 is my cell phone, or you can reach me by email or Facebook or whatever all that looks like to you guys. Until then, have a great rest of the day, and we will catch up with you real soon.